Good morning. I'm going to go ahead and just start into this. Steve has released a couple videos on the Aptera Owners Club. One being the Polydrops company, the latest one just this morning. And it's a good interview he put out here. I like this guy. He and his wife obviously put together a shoulder to the grindstone style company that is at least breaking even, maybe making a little profit, but not enough to really sneeze at or maybe grow the company, as he put it. But it's good, and I think it's a fun product. It's great. The message that it sends out to the Aptera community members, Bill Smith, who's BS on this Aptera relational Discord, is kind of going into. I made a stab at my yes men style sarcasm he uses everywhere. But Polydrops proves out that Aptera's business model of quality and focus on high-end luxury products is going to be a key success factor for Aptera. It's not all about watts per dollar. So I think this is the message in Steve's video that the fan community will run with. And then he says, in addition to that, in a better style, Polydrops is a bad business plan because the VCs will soon have them making a typical box trailer with 200 watts non-automotive grade solar on top and 100 amp hour of battery, and then price it out at $40K. Aptera sticks to their guns and goes true to the plan without the interference of the outside experts that VCs bring in. And I said, yeah, that too. So I don't know if anyone's familiar with Yes Men, but they were from, I think, late 90s and 2000 era, making fun of you. I think it's a great series to watch. They have their own website. They've kind of floundered in the since their pinnacle move, if I remember it right, was this was the era before pre-internet, and one of these Yes Men was able to get an interview on CNN as a representative of the company that said they were going to take full accountability and responsibility as a Dow Chemical representative for the spill in Bhopal, India, that killed hundreds of thousands of people and continues to create havoc today in the area with birth defects, etc. And the stock market took heed of that and crashed the stock price. So it was a great sort of move to make on their part in terms of just bringing awareness to the issues that are going on in corporate America. And they continue to do that in a variety of ways. So they do it. Yes Men style means, just uber sarcasm toward the righteous path or whatever it is. It's kind of how I view this Bill Smith guy. He's obviously somebody with great contacts and works in the industry of knowing what all the mistakes that Aptera is making. So unfortunately, he has to use this approach within the AOC. This is my point. He has to use these approaches when he's going to comment anywhere in the community. Otherwise, so that they don't know sometimes. A lot of the users have no clue he's just being completely sarcastic, and they'll probably like on his comment thinking that he's really promoting the company, but he's doing it to such a silly extent that without the understanding that he's being sarcastic, they're probably buying into it. So I can see some damage going on there really to the community that's going to, hey, I'm going to go pull out my credit card and drop $5,000 on these guys because this is going to be a success. So anyways, that being said, he's quite funny. He's brilliant in a lot of his responses. And every once in a while, it's a small post. He'll come out, he and some of these other guys too, very smart individuals on here with a lot of experience they bring. 14.4. Who else is on here? Achilles has got good insights and good posts. There's some good ones. There's a very few group of people, unfortunately, but there's some good insights in there. So again, if you're thinking about putting money into this company, before you do so, this would be a great place to get some, ask some questions, get some insight, do your own research. You don't have to take everything they say as truth, but it would at least guide you in a direction to do some realistic research on this company and whether you want to put your money into it or not. Had I had these insights back when AOC started and it was just the fan channel Steve promotes it to be, had I heard any of these things about Start Engine and this Engine company. And all I heard about was the spin from the community on Aptera 1.0 that these guys were, gonna, they, they got the control wriggled away from them by these corporate invaders somehow, and they're not going to make that same mistake in 2.0. Well, that's not always the same message I hear from the guys in the know on the history here. They essentially got fired because the guys knew, Chris and Steve were incompetent. They got fired, and they left the owners. This is another way of looking at it, with a company that was unrecoverable in Aptera 1.0. The big thing that any startup company, Tesla got hold of them, was the government funding that Aptera couldn't get because it was only a three-wheel vehicle, and they weren't able to secure the funding to get the startup money that they needed in order to get to market. That was the big hindrance. But the other hindrances, I'm sure, were they were fired going off on a million directions instead of just focusing on a company that could be viable. And it was too far down that avenue, as it is today with 2.0, to become recoverable. And as you can see, we're talking about, taking a look at all these, Steve Fambro buttoning up the lower instrument panel soon on Artemis, showing that this is in fact not going to be production intent either. So, take it for what you want. Of course, you're going to join sides. If you're already in the cult, then, you're going to argue your way out of whatever you want. But regardless of that, if you're on the fence or a newbie and you're thinking about putting money in this company, this is a great resource for you to get some information. Take it for what it is. I wanted to go over real quickly here, too, a couple of interactions I had with Steve that were very disheartening on this one big, beautiful act video that, again, doesn't talk too much about Aptera. I mean, there's really not much to talk about with Aptera going on right now. But so how important is this again? Because a lot of this is just about EVs in general and the bill itself, and it's not really relevant to Aptera, but it's a good distraction, I guess. Oh yeah, more good news for Aptera, because they're not going to have to compete with other vehicles getting the 7,500. Big deal. Be sure to donate today. So I'm being a little tongue-in-cheek, sarcastic, rude. None of your business, says GM, who wants to invest in Aptera. Their money, not yours. And I'm all, sure, it's their decision. They only need an actual real picture of the state of the company. And that's my criticism to this whole channel, is that it's not just a fan channel, as Steve dismisses a lot of critics with. Well, who isn't biased in a fan channel? Well, you know who isn't is a real fan channel. What you would label this is, if it's not going to be, if it's going to be biased, then it's called a propaganda channel. And that's really what it is. So own up to the fact and call it a propaganda channel. Great. Now everybody knows coming into it. All I'm going to hear is heavily slanted and biased views and opinions of Aptera. So call it a propaganda channel, and I have no issues with it. But you don't. And the other thing you've dismissed me on is I have some weird obsession with you. No, I don't. I don't know you. Get over yourself is what I replied. I don't know you from a hill of beans. But what I do know, and I am interested in, is the fact that you're leading up this channel that won't allow any kind of negative talk or comments or what have you. And there's plenty of the positive, like this one. None of your business. That's no value add to anything. Yet it's all over in here. And I'm not allowing this in this relational channel. I will literally just kick off people from either commenting in my videos here or in the Discord channel that are trolling like this. This to me is a trolling statement, you know. So, anyways, here's the good part that I wanted to get to. Assuming Aptera ever intended to actually build a vehicle in the first place, which the poly drops kind of confirmed because he's just doing it. That's my point. The only thing that has ever been in the way of building them is Aptera themselves. So, Phil Easler says agree. Current management is R&D only. Garage Tinkerers. And then GMV pops back in. You should stick to your pathetic channel instead of the channel supporting Aptera. Do you still want to sell your shares, or are you just all talk? And I said, yeah, I'll sell them. You buying? He, of course, crickets from him. I'll also sell my accelerator 628 place in line. Make an offer. And I am open to offers. Says you seem to defend people's right to waste their money however they want, and then you should all over me. What's up with that? So he says you should stick to your pathetic channel. And that's quite common in these cult atmospheres where everyone's telling you what you should and should not be saying or doing instead of just listening to what you're trying to say and do. So Steve pops in here. I don't know, I didn't figure out till later on he was baiting. How many shares we talking about? I said, I tried replying to that directly and it does not working because I'm probably lower ranked due to all the reports of my posts or what have you. I said 25.79 shares at the very bargain price of only $10 a share, and they're selling at $14.80 now, so that's a pretty good deal. Quite the deal given the future of Aptera that everyone seems to be talking about here, and they're spending now between $5,000 to $10,000 for a spot, and a rebate, a dollar per dollar rebate on a car that's not built yet or even priced yet. So to me, that's, as long as they're selling those, I think $10 a share is a pretty good deal. So, and all the information that Steve seems to be coming out here with, rumors of IPOs. They're selling their panels now and making money even though it's only 2 a month, they're making them by selling them to poly drops. Everything's roses. So $10 a share. Anyone want to make a little offer? Please, by all means, do so. I'm also selling my number 628 accelerator spot, which is going to be built months before the current advanced delivery orders. I'm sure you've beat those prices with just this hobby channel alone. So yeah, he's made what, $2,000 a month? Let's say an average of $1,500 a month for the last 2 years. That's a good chunk of money he could pay. Yeah. So, anyways, he goes, "I'll buy all the shares for $100." This is how confident Steve feels. I mean, this is pretty telling. Since you are sure they're going. So basically, he was baiting me. Right? I said, wow. And then Michael Silva popped in. There's a vote of confidence. That would, yeah, probably not. Anyways, if it's not, it's either A, he really does think in his mind, his reality of reality, this company is going nowhere because he's not even entertaining any kind of talk about value in the company here, or B, it's a dick move on his part. I think it's both of those combined. So I already do have a $250 an offer per share offer that was posted on Discord. He posted it out there in the user space, so I brought it private and I kept him as he's a viable offer. I'll bookmark it and see where this campaign runs out. And maybe because these guys are geniuses at crowdfunding, they might raise some kind of excitement that brings up a sense of value to the company. And when when the numbers run out on this campaign and before the next campaign, whatever their fear of missing out tactic is going to be, maybe someone will make a better offer. That's what I'm hanging on to. But it does sure speak volumes about your confidence in an IPO. Why not put some money where your mouth is? And then I told him, well, it's just an overall dick move on your part, which it is. So then Phil, he comes out and he does a calculation, but he's off by a factor of 10. It's actually 3.038 cents per share. Uh, and then again, I'm getting shooted by Steve himself. Totally sell that. It's greater than zero. Yeah, that's I should, right? Okay. Phillies are both motions, quite a few to be sure, for sure. Yeah. So, anyways, this is where I explained to Steve, yeah, you're just an ass. So there he goes. And again, I'm not obsessed with Steve. He can dismiss me all he wants. That's what obtuse people do, is just dismiss any naysayers or critics or negative comments about them, or just try and explain where they're at and not being listened to. He's dismissed me as I'm somehow obsessed with him. I'm not, but I am. And this is an interesting social experiment. I mean, this is going on now on a few pretty large rounds. I'm guessing if they don't change the laws here on crowdsourcing, like crowdfunding, I'm sure this has gone on in all Kickstarter projects with fans versus detractors, naysayers, or what have you. And so that's an interesting study, or an interesting thing to be a part of now too, since I did buy into this, unfortunately, a couple of years ago when I was researching. And AOC's channel was part of that. So just so you know, someone did like my comment. So I don't know what else I had to say out here. I think I'm pretty much done on this one. I'm not going to get more organized. I'm not making money on any of this. Take with it what you want. And if you have no value add, please do not comment. Please thumbs down instead of negatively commenting. I get it. You don't have to, I don't know. Yeah, I'm hoping everybody thumbs down every single video I put out here. I don't care. This is for your benefit or not. I'm not getting anything out of this, and I'm not promoting myself in any way with this, or my channel, or am I ever intending to monetize any of this stuff. This is information for people investigating this company from someone who's actually been watching it now for 6 years. So take it with what you need, leave it with what you don't want.